Hey guys, global warming skeptic here, and yeah, it's here. It's here. I hope people are really happy. I really do. People on the left, those who aren't silent, praising him. People on the right, egging on war as always. What's new? I was reading some retweets of Donald Trump from years ago. In fact, I think I retweeted one here. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not that composed because honestly, I'm scared to death, and it's oh wait, that's right here. I was looking right at it. Yeah, this was 5th of September 2013. This is when I thought Trump made sense. And this was his rhetoric during the campaign. Again, you are a very foolish leader. Do not attack Syria. If you do, many very bad things will happen, and from that fight, the U.S. gets nothing. And there it is. Is that any less true today? What do we get out of this? Like, you have Putin poking his chest out. It's like, yeah, you have to. If he's going to expand his influence, fine. But what are we getting out of this? What's this for? And yes, I understand there's a very loose justification of the use of chemical weapons, which I'm not even convinced it was Assad. Because, see, here's the thing about Syria. Here's the big thing about Syria is that Russia doesn't want us out of Syria. That's the big secret. Russia does not want us out of Syria, and this is why. Because the blame on Syria is going to be placed on whomever is left there. And it is a diplomatic gift that we are there. That's why they signed a ceasefire and are allowing us to have a presence in Syria. Because they benefit, because as long as we're there, it's not their problem. It's partly our problem. In this attack, I'm not saying it is or it isn't the Russians, and I think Trump made one of the few smart remarks he made was Russia's promise to ensure that nuclear weapons will never be used again. That was an important statement, but here's the thing is I honestly think Trump is being goaded into staying in Syria, into keeping a presence there. And that's the thing. It's like when Trump is on his own and he's thinking with his own mind, he has some very insightful things to offer. When he is in the place of an advisor, as he was in the early 1990s, he had a very big, he has some very insightful things to say. You listen to some of his old interviews. But the problem here is there's a lot of people who are leaving an impression on him. And I honestly think that he now, being surrounded by generals, because they're the only ones who speak his language have made him drink the American Kool-Aid. The America has to be the leader Kool-Aid. And we keep being told over and over again, we can't do everything. We need the help of allies. And yet, that's all we do, is everything. Everything. For everybody. We got inner cities crumbling. We got schools that are failing. We have rampant income inequality. We have so many problems in this country that we have to solve. Where's the money for us? Or where's the money to give back to the taxpayers for this bloated and useless military? This is where Trump is going to lose a lot of people. This beating the war drums, he's going to lose me if nothing else, because this is Bush all over again. Justifying another war for another noble cause to free another group of people. Always somebody else, isn't it? Always. You know, our money goes to pay for Saudi Arabia. Look at some of the Saudi cities. Those are some of the most beautiful cities in the world. Their cityscapes, their sidewalks. You look at Europe, you look at some of their cities, at least before they the refugees basically are trashing the place as we speak. But look at that. Look at some of the beautiful cities in India, in China. These are some amazing, amazing, beautiful things. Even places in Mexico. Yet you look at the US, like, what are we getting? Maybe South Beach? That's a beautiful place, but Virginia Beach is a beautiful place. But we don't, like, other countries are using all this aid that we're giving them, and they're building some amazing things. They're moving ahead. They're funding their social programs. A lot of NATO countries, Scandinavian countries, those that leftists love to talk about, guess who's paying for their defense? You think they got these tiny militaries for nothing? No. We pay. It's us. You know why our healthcare goes to crap? Look at the amount of research that the United States does. And this doesn't just benefit us. This research benefits pretty much every country on the planet because they get to use our research, make their drugs, sell their drugs cheap. Meanwhile, we're paying 10, 20, 100 times more, $50,000 per pill or whatever it is. It's just like it always has to be for somebody else. Always. So here's the thing: is this is really my takeaway from this, and this is kind of a watershed moment for me. It's like I support a lot of what Trump has done, his policies, his executive actions, removing Obama's executive orders, deregulating. I'm with all that, but we got to come to a realization, all of us, Trump supporters and Republicans, um, and I don't even care who it comes from. You get Bernie Sanders, you get anybody, it's going to be the same thing. America First is dead. There is nothing there. Because those in this country who are in power have everything to benefit from giving our power away to other nations. And they got nothing to lose. This is about people with ambition. This is how the Romans went down. Believe it or not, how did the Romans get down? At first they fought for their heritage, what it meant to be Roman, and it wasn't just a skin color thing. It was a cultural thing. It was there were a lot of qualities to being Roman. Your supreme engineering feats. Desiring to excel in areas other than horseback riding or what you could do in a war. But that got tarnished because other people were allowed in, and people in power could use those outsiders. They didn't have any benefit of Romanness after a certain point. After people stopped expecting it, all of a sudden you saw them just flood in, and eventually that's what happened. The Roman Empire was not invaded. It disintegrated, and it disintegrated because other interests than the Romans started taking over, and eventually those places became so powerful that they just didn't need Rome anymore, and so they acted independently and ignored all the pretend emperors that were pretty much the final death throes of the empire. You know, and yeah, this isn't, it's a little bit of a stretch to complete a complete parallel. But the thing is this, is that we're being torn apart by people in power who don't benefit. Is there a solution? I don't think there is. It's too deeply ingrained in those in power. Whether or not they come into power with good intentions, and I believe, because one thing Trump has was consistent about was his desire to make things more fair for Americans. Other countries start paying their share and all that. But that's gone. America First is dead. Thanks for listening, guys. God bless.